Today, we're talking about something that grabbed a lot of headlines recently: Donald Trump's Nobel Peace Prize nomination and why he didn't win, despite openly campaigning for it. So, what's the deal? He seemed pretty sure he deserved it.
Yeah, it definitely raised a lot of eyebrows. Trump campaigned heavily for the Nobel, claiming credit for several high-profile peace deals, like the Abraham Accords and a ceasefire in Gaza. But in the end, the Nobel Committee didn't see it that way.
Right? And the main reason they didn't award him the prize was his foreign policy record. Some of his actions, like pulling out of international agreements and escalating tariffs, were seen as disruptive. The Nobel Peace Prize has always been about advancing peace, and his approach didn't exactly align with that vision.
Exactly. I think that's the key point. The committee looks at the bigger picture. Trump's policies sometimes seem to increase tensions, which is the opposite of what the Nobel stands for. It's not just about making deals, but about fostering long-term stability and global cooperation.
And let's not forget his public lobbying. That didn't help his case at all. The Nobel Prize has this unwritten code where overt self-promotion is frowned upon. Trump's supporters were pretty vocal, arguing he deserved it, but the committee isn't too fond of that kind of campaigning.
Yeah, they've always kept the process pretty confidential. They don't even confirm nominations until the winner is announced. But Trump's supporters definitely made noise, accusing the committee of political bias. That's not new. It's been a recurring theme, right?
True, but the committee was pretty clear. They mentioned that nominations don't guarantee anything. And even though several world leaders and politicians nominated Trump, the final decision was about his overall record.
And that brings us to María Corina Machado, who won the prize in 2025. She was recognized for her efforts to restore democracy in Venezuela, which the committee said better aligned with the ideals of peace and democracy the Nobel represents.
Exactly. Machado's work was seen as having a more direct, lasting impact on peace. Trump's peace deals were important, but there were concerns that his broader policies sometimes contributed to instability, which doesn't quite fit the Nobel's criteria.
Plus, there's the timing issue. The nomination deadline for 2025 was right after Trump's inauguration, so some of the accomplishments his supporters pointed to were just outside the official consideration period. That didn't help his case either.
It's fascinating how the Nobel Committee weighs all these factors: foreign policy, lasting impact, the approach to peace. And they've stuck to their process. It's not about a single achievement, it's about the overall legacy.
Exactly. And Trump didn't just miss out on the prize, he even claimed that Machado accepted the award in his honor, which, of course, wasn't true. The Nobel Committee never made that connection. It just highlights the gap between Trump's view of his own contributions and the committee's perspective.
It's a classic case of differing narratives. Trump saw his term as a series of successes on the global stage, but the Nobel Committee looks for something different. It's about long-term peace, diplomacy, and avoiding actions that could lead to conflict.
And the backlash from Trump's supporters shows how controversial the whole thing became. But in the end, the committee's decision followed the established guidelines. The award went to someone who was actively working to restore democracy and peace in a region that desperately needs it.
Right, and that's a good reminder of why the Nobel Peace Prize matters. It's not just about popularity or high-profile agreements. It's about actions that make a true difference in the world.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the impact of a leader's decisions goes beyond headlines. The Nobel Committee isn't swayed by personal campaigns or political noise. They focus on the bigger, lasting picture.
So, in the end, Trump's Nobel candidacy was a mix of ambition, diplomacy, and controversy. But his record didn't align with the standards the Nobel Committee upholds. It's a tough lesson for anyone campaigning for the prize. Actions speak louder than words.
Definitely. And it'll be interesting to see how this whole process evolves in the future. What does it take to win the Nobel? And how much does public perception really influence it?
Those are great questions to keep in mind. It's definitely something we'll keep an eye on moving forward. But for now, that's all the time we have. Thanks for tuning in.